Captain Forest here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over both these combatants to see who would win more often not in a cross-verse situation. Knull from Marvel 616 versus Barbatos from DC Comics. Now if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for further content. Also, huge shouts to HQ Squad, massive shouts to the team, massive shouts to Korin. He's been a huge help in my videos, and shoutouts to the other team members as well. They know who they are, so much appreciated to the team. Now I'm going to go ahead and summarize some of the things for Knull, talk about some of his feats and all that good jazz. Then after that I will move on to Barbatos, and then near the end of the video I'll give my final analysis on who I think wins more often not in a cross-verse situation. For starters, Knull has literally decapitated a Celestial, and he's used its energy to empower All Black, the Necro Sword. We've seen Celestials effortlessly pierce the strongest version of the Destroyer armor, and also effortlessly melt it into slag. Orisham allowed the Odin Sword to penetrate his armor in order to analyze it and then casually melt it. Odin is the creator of the Odin Sword, whose true name is Ragnarok. The All-Father is capable of simultaneously affecting every conceivable astral and metaphysical plane. We witnessed Knull easily overpower the Sentry and rip him apart, ripping the void out of him in the process. Absorbing Man, who could absorb the powers of a cosmic cube, Odin, Galactus, power which can destroy the Scarlet Witch, Wiccan, and Dormammu, simply couldn't handle Sentry giving him all his power, and basically collapsed onto himself. Even with a mere fraction, he flat out states he thinks Sentry is a god himself with these powers. On top of this, we've seen the symbiote god go toe to toe with Cosmic Thor, and he ultimately took him out with the All Black, the Necro Sword. This same Thor one-shots an amped Galactus. Keep in mind, this amped Galactus states that he himself was more powerful than ever. This is impressive considering what we've seen a well-fed Galactus can do. For example, his battle with Skryre and the others threatened to destroy everything. This battle was directly compared to the Chaos War, and was an even bigger threat than what the Chaos King did during the Chaos War, and scared Lady Death to the point that she stopped exerting her presence in existence. However, before Thor fully engaged with Knull in a fight, he spoke to the symbiote god. "I have killed hundreds like you. All of them claimed to be the one true death, the living void, the end." This is in reference to Thor's battle with the Black Winter, which was a victorious battle for Thor, unlike his battle with Knull. As we know, the Black Winter devoured the 6th multiverse and was a threat to the 8th. Now moving on to Knull's hexes. Thanks to the All Black Necro Sword, Knull has access to biological manipulation. You see, those cuts by All Black will be gradually infected by it, destroying them from the inside. Oh, but it offers much more versatility than this, folks. So let's jump right into it. This thing can be fired like arrows and used to create tendrils and whips. It can create monsters of darkness called the Black Berserkers. Knull can command his creations from a limitless space away. The Necro Sword corrupted Gorr's mind to the point where he had to subconsciously betray himself. When Thor took possession of All Black, it took Thor its true name and even laughed at Gorr. Skyfather Thor even had to fight to resist being mind controlled. After defeating Galactus, the Necro Sword was able to take control of his nearby dead body. We've seen Knull convert and transform Silver Surfer into his own symbiote Herald, overpowering him. Okay, so that's going to round up Knull. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Barbatos and see what he brings to the table. Barbatos was able to kill the World Forger inside the Forge. The World Forger comes from the 6th dimension, and Mr. Mixie states that anyone in the 6th dimension is beyond him, which would include the Anti-Monitor. And during Dark Knight's metal, Barbatos' wailing was shaking the strings of the multiverse, and Wonder Woman notes that the gods believe a crisis is coming that will shake the very firmament and douse the light of creation. Barbatos was making the stories in the Dreaming come to life. Barbatos also started firing a library which was going to put an end to all stories and the Dreaming. The only reason why the heroes have beaten gods and monsters is because Barbatos allowed them to. So he also one-shots Superman and Wonder Woman as well when he first approached them in combat, which was very impressive. So right there and there, we've got some really good scaling for Barbatos. He should easily be high Ultraversal. Now, as for speed, Barbatos should easily have irrelevant speed. He is also able to tag and one-shot Superman and Wonder Woman and trap them both in nightmares and illusions, where Barbatos beats them every time for 7 days. Superman himself easily has irrelevant speed feats, such as outpacing reality blitzing missiles, as Superman was able to move inside the source, which contains no direction. So, and due to the nature of being high Ultraversal, you would naturally have irrelevant speed anyway. So this is just some consistency to add on to the speed. But personally, I don't really think speed's going to be too much of an issue in this battle, but I figured I'd mention it anyway. So that's going to round up the AP and speed for Barbatos. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to some of Barbatos' hacks and abilities. So Barbatos can trap you in a conceptual nightmare and these conceptual illusions, and the illusions are psychotic traps where inside the illusions you are finessed with a false glimmer of hope to only wind up losing to your own manifestation of your fears and nightmares and stuck in the same cycle of losing. Wonder Woman notes that the illusions weren't worse than reality, and Barbatos can fire dark lightning from his hand, and he's used his dark lightning to one-shot Carter and then says that he'll create entire worlds to torment the heroes for all of eternity. Barbatos can summon his army with his wailing, and Barbatos' army are also strong enough to fight the heroes and physically damage them. And Barbatos can also corrupt you and take possession over you, causing you to blindly serve him. Okay, so that's going to round up both these combatants. I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts on who I think wins more often than not in a crossverse situation. Now when it comes to AP, I'm favouring Knull in AP. I think he scales higher into the cosmology compared to Barbatos. I don't really have Barbatos too high in the DC cosmology, and just going off transcendences, Knull just has more transcendences in comparison to Barbatos. And even if we go off like the high Ultraversal boundless ballpark, I still lean AP a little bit more so to Knull. And especially even if we go into the extraversal tiers, the transcendences get really insane. So AP, I think Knull takes AP pretty easily. Now in terms of speed, I don't think speed's going to be an issue. They be able to react to each other pretty fine. I don't really see a speed blitz in any capacity. So what it comes down to ultimately in this fight is the hexes. Knull has his win cons. His sword is his best win con. You know, the biomanipulation, the nasty immortality negations that the sword has. I think that's going to be the biggest and best win con in this situation. Barbatos has his own corruption stuff. He can summon, you know, things from the dark multiverse. He can summon his like minions. He can, you know, do a lot of crazy hacks of his own. He also has his own little unique thing with the whole dark multiverse. You know, if you're from there, if you have properties from the dark multiverse, like any type of other energies that aren't, you know, dark multiverse related, they have no effect on you. But of course there's limits to that. It would be a no limits fallacy to just assume nothing can affect anyone from the dark multiverse. It also comes down to, you know, there's hierarchies. We have to go off what feats that type of resistance is showing. We can't just assume that nothing can affect it at all. And in this case, I haven't seen Barbatos, like, in terms of like the dark multiverse energies being able to like resist things or be unaffected by certain things. I haven't seen it being able to resist like immortality negation, and especially characters. If you have like a higher AP, this is also proven even in DC Comics, like characters who just have higher AP than anyone from like dark multiverse, they'd get like one shot. So even if you like are from the dark multiverse, if you're weaker than the opponent, then the opponent can still beat you and one shot you via physical AP. So, and because Knull has the AP in his edge, the whole dark multiverse thing is kind of irrelevant because of the different gap in AP. Now with the sword, I think the sword is the hugest problem in this fight against Barbatos. Once Barbatos gets tagged by it, even slightly, or if he gets stabbed, immortality negation takes place. He's like, Knull will stab Barbatos in the ground with the sword, Barbatos will either die or he can't get out. He'd lose by standard battle assumptions via versus battle wiki standard. He won't be able to fight. He'd be put in a situation where he can't fight at all. Knull himself has insane resistances based on how he works. You know, he's the king of the void, so I don't really see like Barbatos' hexes really being that useful against Knull. And Knull is on a whole new level when it comes to like fundamental resistances, so I think he'd just be fine. So more often than not, I personally favor Knull. I think Knull has the AP to take down Barbatos. The sword will do the job. The hexes behind the sword will definitely be able to work on Barbatos. I don't think the whole, you know, Dark Multiverse thing is going to be any useful in this situation based off the context behind how it works, and you know, there's a lot of things that you have to consider when it comes to that. So more often than not, I gotta give this to Knull. Better AP, nasty sword is just built different. But thank you guys for watching. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Let me hear your reasonings and your interpretations. But yes guys, it's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.